let's flip a coin. Head Carolina, tails California.
Okay, this is Andy Graham of the Ask Andy Show. I'm kind of doing my Wednesday. I can't seem to get Wednesday in my mind to do these Wednesday updates, but today I want to ask a question. I'm the Ask Andy Show. I've been to 16 plus years. 16 plus years I've traveled, and I've gone to 90 countries. But I'm planning on going to Bulgaria, and I got a very big problem. I realized that Bulgaria is one of the main places where a lot of British and Europeans go retire, because the cost of living is really cheap. They have a what does it say? They have a cost of living of about, the average person earns about, say, $600 a month in Bulgaria. So it's it's just about $200 more than Vilcabamba, where I'm at right now. So in Vilcabamba they earn about $300 a month, say $350, something like that. But Vilcabamba is a little more rich than the rest of Ecuador. But I got a real problem here, and I got a real whinge to go on here. Okay, when you're trying to choose a country to go thing is, let me ask you, would you say go retire in America? Nah, you wouldn't say go retire in America. You would say go retire in Albuquerque, go retire in Florida, go retire in, California, go retire in a certain place, Boulder, Colorado. You would choose a specific city. And one of the problems I got here is I'm trying to go to Bulgaria, right? And I was trying to zero in. I've been trying to do this for the last month. I'm trying to find a place that has that is specifically where expats go and retire. Okay, and I see the same problem here absolutely in Ecuador. You don't go to Ecuador and retire. You don't go to Panama and retire. You don't go to Costa Rica and retire. You go to a city and retire. There's nothing worse than going to a country and retiring. You don't go to the United States and retire. You choose a specific city. Okay, and I'm finding that a lot of the gringos, and this is a huge problem. I'm trying to choose one city to go sit at. I can go to Varna, Bulgaria, or I can go to, there's a couple different cities, Sofia, and there's a place south of there, and there's another city, there's two places on the beach. There's this one place called Sunny Beach, but nobody sits there and earmarks what's the 4 or 5 best cities to retire in Bulgaria. And I'm finding that a lot of these expats here only think Ecuador, like all of Ecuador is a great place to retire, and that's just bullshit. Okay, this is stupid. Okay, I chose this big, I chose 100 cities. We have 100 websites and 100 cities, which we call like the short list of 100 places that you might want to go hang out for 1 or 2 months and kind of retire. But Vilcabamba is one of them, and Cuenca is one of them. But the whole rest of the country, I'm sort of like left off the map because it's really pretty difficult. Even Cuenca is way too cold for me. But we have a website on Cuenca. Okay, but the point here is, this camera's getting heavy. I'm holding it out here on my arm. I thought I'd try to show you the park a little bit as I was walking around. But the point is this. Vilcabamba has one of the most perfect climates on the planet, as does Medellin, Colombia, really the plateau of Ethiopia and Kenya, as does Baguio, Philippines, as does La Guatemala, Guatemala, Boquete, Panama. But don't go retire in Panama. You retire in Boquete. You got to choose your climate, guys, and it's really pretty sad here that people are acting like a country is a choice. Really, for one thing, I don't change cities. I actually change hotels. When I leave one city, I look for a hotel. When I get a good hotel, I go then jump to that hotel. I don't really change cities. I change hotels. But you really should get this in your mind that if you're going to retire, you need to choose a place. You need to choose a city and get off this idea of a country. A country is sort of anal. The whole country of Ecuador is kind of dangerous, okay? It's not really that safe a place. And if you're just going to choose anywhere and everywhere, you're basically doing a fool's run, okay? And A fool's run is just naively thinking this. And the problem is this, is that USA Today and all these websites, they'll just talk in countries. You wouldn't say go retire in the United States. You would say a specific place. And this country has, I don't know, like 20-some provinces. And there's many different altitudes and climates and stuff like here. And you don't just want to choose Ecuador. You want to choose things. And if you don't, really, you only have like two possibly good, great places to retire in Ecuador, then you might as well change countries. And strangely, a lot of people are coming to Ecuador because they want to escape America because they're afraid it's going to collapse or something. Then I'm saying, they're using dollars down here, guys. If it collapses, you know, this is one of the, they're not going to be excluded, right? And it's kind of funny because they're basically three places in Central and South America that use dollars: El Salvador, Panama, and Ecuador. And they just basically buy dollars and they do it. But they're tied to the dollar so hard that if the United States economy went down, so is Ecuador going to go down. But read the history of, there's a great BBC page on the that lists the chronological history of Ecuador, and you'll find that a lot of these presidents just got ousted. Less than 15 years ago, they were getting booted out of the country. But again, back to my winch, Bulgaria. I've been trying to find the ideal city to go retire in, and basically the way you figure out if a city's got the core basic needs that you would want for a person that comes from a modern country to retire is, one is that there's usually going to be a forum. Like, see, right now here in Vilcabamba, there's this Vilca People website, Facebook page that is kind of your forum for this place. And then you have an English bookstore here. So if they have an English bookstore, that means, hey, there's a lot of expats, enough core expats. They have mail forwarding. Now, Vilcabamba doesn't seem to have very good mail forwarding at all. They're really bad. Okay, they don't have a gringo grocery store. They're not really having a gringo that's been here so long that he's actually started a grocery store and do it. And then you got airport pickup. They don't have airport pickup here. That means I haven't been able to figure out how to call somebody here in this town and say, come pick me up at the airport in Cuenca, which is like 4 hours away, 3 hours away, whatever. And this means that I have to trust a taxi from the airport, or I'm not going to do this. I'm going to get on a bus and come all the way because it's safer. But people can literally get on a taxi and thing. But taxis are very dangerous things to get on in Cuenca or Loja and come to Vilcabamba. And I'm trying to find all these same kinds of things in Bulgaria, but I can't. I'm having a tough luck. And it looks like, and I got on some very big websites, and all they do is they group. There's nothing more anal than to group a whole country together and say this country is good to retire. That's not going to make you happy. You're going to go to a very uncomfortable place. Really what you need is about a feeling that you're about 25% in an expat colony or on the edge of an expat colony to have the basic services, needs, and your wants fulfilled, okay? Otherwise, you're just going to be totally uncomfortable and adapting. You're going to have culture shock, right? To the max. Now, there's no doubt that Vilcabamba is a very good place. This is probably the least culture shock. This is an American colony so much that it's hardly anybody here from Ecuador. It doesn't even feel Ecuadorian to me. I got this favorite food I like. It's called maíz tostado. They toast these little kernels of corn. I can't even buy them in this village, really. Well, I found one place, but they're $2. They should be like 50 cents. They're like one of the traditional snacks of Ecuador. I thought about it the first time I came back because you kind of remember these foods. But don't choose a country. Choose a city, guys. It's really, you're just generalizing too much on this stuff. We choose cities to retire on the planet. We don't choose countries. It's not to say you can't, but it's sort of a fool's run.